Hey y'all, Weldon here at teamhobbsrealty.com. And if you have not seen from realtor.com, there's a recent article that just came out about the top 20 top housing markets for 2025. And guess what? Colorado Springs is number one on that list. And so, of course, from my perspective, I was wondering, well, why is that? What are the underlying factors? And so I'm going to post the link to this particular article, and so that way you can go to it. But that is what you're looking at on the screen. You can see it's realtor.com and then top housing markets for 2025. And then it dives into some of the underlying factors of why it is. Why is Colorado Springs projected to be the number one resale and sales location or hottest market for next year? And there's actually a little trend that you'll see, and here's a good map. It talks about the west going into the southeast area, and so regional concentration in the south and the west. So Colorado Springs falls into that. Considerable recent sales growth and likelihood of maintaining that momentum. So that means we've been selling homes over this last year here in Colorado Springs, and it's projected to carry on into the following year. This next one, the number 3 bullet, it's more abundant inventory. And in many cases, it's driven by new construction. Certainly, we have new construction happening here across the Front Range, and then there's more available inventory based on sellers. So they are putting their houses on the market now in larger numbers. And why is that? Well, we heard about whenever the prices were going up, and then of course over the last year to 2 years, and the interest rates going up, you had sellers who were saying, "I'm not moving. I've locked in on a great rate. I have no intentions of that." But that's not reality. Reality is life happens, and eventually people kind of unfreeze and say, "You know what? I got to make the move," and they take off, and that's what we're seeing as inventory increases from folks. And so that gives more options for buyers. And then buyers, of course, in that same breath, were saying, "Man, interest rates are so high." And compared to where they were, and so they basically took themselves off the market, and now we're getting to that point of, okay, interest rates are going to stay between that 6.5%, maybe into the top fives, not likely in my opinion, but 6.5% range over 2025. We got to make a move, and so let's just dive in. So then this fourth bullet here, younger populations, and I'll just read it here, many of whom are connected to the military or have international ties. Well, here in the Colorado Springs market, we absolutely have that military tie-in. We have 4 major bases between the Air Force Academy, Peterson Air Force Base, then the Schriever Air Force Base, and then Fort Carson. And then you can even push it up a little further north if you wanted to talk about Buckley. That's more in the Denver area, but there is a significant military presence here. And so what does that drive? That drives stable income. And so and this kind of goes into the next one here, which is factors that minimize the impact of high mortgage rates, such as higher shares of outright ownership, so meaning no debt at all, and then populations eligible for government-backed mortgages, like the Veterans of VA loan or FHA loans. So most of the buyers that we have here, they absolutely are taking out VA loans, especially if they're military or veterans. And so that you can see how you have that younger population connected to the military, stable income, and then the VA, the more government-backed mortgage. Why that those two things are help a housing market, and then this last one, relatively lower cost markets that continue to benefit from flexible work arrangements. Relatively low, okay, compared to New York, sure. San Francisco, sure. Colorado Springs, housing wise, it is expensive, and it's certainly not the most expensive across the country, but the average home price is just right underneath 500,000. dollars, which is not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. But the benefits of owning a home and the impact that it has on your wealth creation long term, I would propose that and make it worthwhile, especially in an area that's backed by these other factors. With the military and then the stable incomes coming in, Colorado Springs is an incredible place to invest in and call home. And so the second part of that sentence, though, relatively low cost markets that continue to benefit from flexible work arrangements. Lower down on in the article, they actually jump into this a little bit. So right around 9% or 8.9% of the jobs offered here in Colorado Springs are hybrid or remote. Now that's not likely military positions specifically, but that's what attracts others to the area and helps continue to bolster the economy that's here. So I'm excited to say that there's great things ahead for Colorado Springs. It's not on top of its beauty, but the underlying economic factors and making it a beautiful place, a wonderful place to invest and call home. Now, one tip that I have for buyers is if things hold true, well, you might want to consider buying a home earlier rather than later, because guess what happens during the summertime? That's when more buyers will be coming out, more competition for still, while there's more inventory, it's still not enough inventory to meet demand, right? So if you are in a place where you could buy a home in March, April, May, February, even, then you might consider that just based on less competition during those months. But hey, we all have our different scenarios where perhaps you don't have a choice and you have to wait till sometime. That's fine. We can still find a home that works for you. Just know there might be a little more competition out there, but we would work through that together. That is my job, is to help find that right home, make a competitive offer to the seller, so that way you can get the home of your dreams. And if you're a seller, I love being able to put those properties out there and get you top dollar for as fast as possible. And so, any questions at all on either side of the transaction, please reach out. Weldon, teamhobbsrealty.com. Excited for this article. It will be in the show notes. And any questions on this article, reach out and we can definitely talk through it. Thanks. Have a good one.